Good morning. Today's experiment is a little bit messy. So if you decide to experiment with this, you should be outside and definitely get some permission. So today's experiment is going to show us the reaction, which will result in the creation of carbon dioxide gas building up in a container. You've done this if you've ever made a volcano using baking soda and vinegar. Today I'm going to use something different. I am going to use acid pain relief. This is the cheap kind. Alka-Seltzer is what it is, and they're little tablets, and so it just makes it easier than mixing two things. So make sure you have permission before you do that. And I'm even going to do part of this experiment. I've never tried it before. So science is really interesting because you have to try things over and over again and try different amounts of something and different sizes of containers and all kinds of stuff. And so I had already done that a little bit earlier today with the Alka-Seltzer and some different size containers. And then I'm going to really experiment one more time with you right here in today's video. So next week will be our last week in our Summer of Science series. So this week and next week, and we'll be done with our Summer of Science series. And will you believe we will be toward fall as we get ready to head into the school year. All right, so today's theme. An uncontrolled temper is foolish and dishonors the Lord. This is going to go along with one of our lessons previously, and it's going to continue to talk about how we should react and anger. But today we're going to focus more on that anger and that really bad reaction that we have a lot of times when we get really frustrated. So today's Bible verse is Proverbs 19:19, and it says, "A hot-tempered man must pay the penalty. If you rescue him, you will have to do it again." A hot-tempered man is someone who's full of anger and is reacting in a negative way. And must pay the penalty means they're going to have consequences for their actions. There's going to be negative consequences. And it says, if you rescue him, he will do it again. Usually hot-tempered people don't learn from their mistakes the first time, and they repeat that action. So an uncontrolled temper will often lead us to improper words and actions. These results might include unwise decisions and broken friendships, which usually comes from fights or arguments when we get angry and hot-tempered. Whatever the eventual penalty, it's usually worse than the original problem that caused the temper tantrum to begin with. Sadly, this Bible verse explains that a hot-tempered person does not easily learn. Instead, he usually repeats his error again and again. We have all seen examples of a hot-tempered person. You might see someone working on a lawnmower and kicking it. Or you might see someone who's trying to play in a golf game and they try to make the putt and they can't make it and they break that putter over their leg. Or you might see someone come in and slam the door, and then the picture falls off the wall and shatters. There's also a very serious side to temper, especially for a Christian. The habit reveals a loss of our self-control and discipline. Instead of letting the Spirit of Jesus Christ lead us, a person who is full of anger allows the sinful nature to take over their actions and their responses. Losing one's temper is not a good testimony, and we need to be careful of that. So to cure this temper problem, we're going to go back to a lesson we did a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Proverbs 15:1. And that proverb said, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Remember when we talked about that? A soft and gentle answer is the opposite of what we naturally want to do. And we tend to have a temper outburst instead of a soft answer. But if we give a soft answer, it leaves no room for uncontrolled anger. And it really is a great testimony of our faithfulness in Jesus Christ. So today we're going to look at uncontrolled temper, and we're going to have it illustrated with the buildup of pressure in a plastic container. So in this activity, you're going to need some different kinds of plastic activities that have like a Tupperware kind of lid. This lid pushes on to seal. You won't want a screw top. That could get a little dangerous. So we need a lid that pushes on. So I've got a couple of different size containers that I tried earlier, and then I thought it would be fun with you today to try an even bigger one. So in these containers, I just put some water in, just a few inches of water. Now, if you want to do this with baking soda and vinegar, you would have vinegar in here instead, okay? And so what's going to happen is I am going to put an Alka-Seltzer tablet in the water and seal the lid. And that's going to represent something happening in our life. Inside, you will start to see the water react, and it's going to fizz and bubble, stirring up that anger until something will happen when it gets all built up inside. We'll see what happens today. All right, let's try the smallest container first. Here we go. Ooh, I see the container getting fizzy in there. I'm kind of nervous. I was going to go up and look at it, but okay, I'm telling you, I did this in the house and it worked. I'm kind of nervous to get close, though. So I'm going to try the other one. Not sure what's happening there. I told you it would happen. I'm not sure why this one didn't work. Maybe I had too much water. That's what I was talking about. Experiments. Sometimes you have to try different things. So I'm going to take some of the water out of this and try this again. Maybe I had too much water, so the reaction wasn't able to take place. So I'll try I'll try another tablet in there with less water. And we'll see what happens. Oh! Definitely worked that time. Okay, I've never tried this one before, so here we go. We'll see what happens. I told you it could be messy, so you've got to make sure that you have permission to be outside or doing this. All right, so I've got a big container and a lot of water, so I'm going to use 3 tablets in this one because, like I said, you have to experiment with different proportions. I don't know what's going to happen. Anger is building in there, I think. I don't know. Oh, I could hear it coming. Could hear it creaking. That's a fun experiment. So what's happening is there's a chemical reaction in there that is producing carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide builds up in that container until it pushes so hard that it pops that lid right off. So that kind of is like how we react with anger, and we have to try to control those emotions and respond with kindness. I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you next week for our last in our Summer of Science series.